Welcome, true crime lovers. This is Underage and Full of Rage.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Underage and Full of Rage, the podcast where the convicted are minors and their crimes are anything but. I am your host, Becky, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Adam.
Hello.
So today's story is a real doozy. It spans over like 30-something years. So just
What do you, like 30 years ago, or it's like
No.
over the course of 30 years?
Over the
Is that a
course.
stupid question.
No, I mean, I could
You're
have just
looking at me like
I could have just worded it terribly.
Okay.
It basically over the course, because it starts in Fort Wayne, Indiana in 1971 and ends in Orlando, Florida in 2004.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it's pretty.
It's a long.
Yeah. So we're just gonna kind of get into it. On January 3rd, 1971, very fresh into the new year, the Brandt family is doing their nightly routine after finishing up an episode of the TV series FBI that they... Sorry. I just short-circuited really, really bad there. My apologies. So they were just finishing up an episode of the TV series FBI that they had just watched on their brand new color TV. And 15-year-old Angela retires to her bedroom to do some reading before going to sleep, while her parents, Herbert, and I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce the name. It's Ilse, and I wanted to say Ilsa, but I wasn't 100% positive, so I feel terrible on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a German name. They're German immigrants, so I initially saw it as Ilsa, but I just don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Doesn't sound like aggressive enough.
Like Gretchen,
Yeah.
right? Because
You
isn't
like German stuff?
or Greta?
Like,
Isn't Greta?
"Arr."
Isn't Greta very German? Right?
I don't know. Is it? Probably.
I feel like I
Sounds-
see like Utsa Greta,
Yeah.
you know?
Hansel and Gretel, yeah.
Yeah.
Hansel. That sounds German.
Right?
Yeah, that sounds German.
So they head to the bathroom. Some sources said that Herbert had begun shaving, whereas other sources said he was reading Shakespeare to his wife. And I think the latter makes more sense because, honestly, who shaves before they go to bed? I don't think I've ever heard of anybody ever doing that.
It's kind of a weird time to bust out a razor.
Right. And I also think it makes more sense, too, because at this time she is drawing a bath. Like, she's getting ready to take a bath, like, before she goes to bed. And I have to mention she's also 8 months pregnant. So in my mind, it would make way more sense for him to be, like, sitting by her reading Shakespeare while she's, like, relaxing in the bath, rather than him, like, shaving while she's, like, hanging out in the bathtub, right?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one.
Okay. So this is happening, and out of nowhere, Angela starts hearing these, like, loud noises. And to her, it sounded kind of like firecrackers going off. And then she hears her dad scream either "Charlie, don't" or "Charlie, stop." She also hears her mom screaming, and the last thing she can remember hearing is her mom yelling for Angela to call the police.
That's horrible.
I mean, it is a frightening scene to just be, like, chilling like any other day or any other night, you know?
Yeah.
You're about to go to bed, and this
And this?
takes off, so... I mean, it gets worse, though, because before she even has time to move, she is faced with her 13-year-old brother, Charlie, standing in her room and pointing a gun at her. Charlie pulls the trigger, but the only sound she can hear is the clicking of the gun, because, thank God, there are no more bullets left.
Wow, that's luck
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah. So in an instant, her fight kicks in, and next thing she knows, she's wrestling with her brother, who she says has this, like, glazed over look in his eyes. So while fighting with him, she is desperately trying to kind of, like, snap him out of it, but Charlie ends up overpowering her, and he begins to strangle her. Luckily for Angela, at some point, for some reason, Charlie does snap out of it, and as he releases his grip from her neck, in a confused state, he asks, "What am I doing?" So, like, it's almost like...
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, like, he legit...
He literally can't. Just comes out of it.
Yeah, like, just came to. So Angela takes this opportunity and she bolts out of the house and pretty much runs as fast as she can to her neighbor's home, to, obviously for help. So she knocks on the door but doesn't stick around long enough for them to answer. And I think it might be because Charlie was following behind her, because when the neighbor opens the door, she's not met with Angela. Instead, Charlie is at her doorstep and he just blurts out, "I just shot my mom and dad." Yeah, pretty crazy. So the cops are called, and what they find is just horrible. I mean, and shocking. So, Ilsa, I want to say Ilsa.
I feel like that sounds like it could be correct.
I feel terrible that I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I want to say it's Ilsa. So again, she's 8 months pregnant. They find her lying dead in the in the bathtub with several gunshot wounds. Herbert, who was shot in the back, is somehow showing signs of life, so he is rushed to the hospital. At the hospital, he just, kept saying he didn't know why his son did this, he didn't know why his son would do this, and all that. So he was at, basically a complete loss and clearly confused about the entire incident. And, I mean, who wouldn't be?
So, yeah, makes
right?
sense, right?
So, up until this point, Charlie was a completely normal kid. He was a little on the quiet side. He did tend to struggle, with adjusting to new settings, but at the same time, he did really well in school. He never got into trouble, and all around, he just essentially was a very unassuming kid. So no one could have imagined that something like this would even happen. The neighbor who opened the door to Charlie even said that it was so shocking to hear he had killed his mom because he was such a mama's boy. So to a lot of people in the community, it just really didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Charlie did tell the cops at the time that he basically just felt the urge and something must have snapped. And that's all he really kind of said on the incident. So.
That's insane.
Yeah. But it gets even crazier because, cops are staring at a 13-year-old kid. Where do they go from here? Because Indiana in 1971 had no protocol or recourse for a child who murders his mom and attempts to kill his family.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do. I also have to point out here that I feel like everyone...
It just never happened?
Well, I feel like everyone also overlooked the fact that his mom was 8 months pregnant, meaning he also technically murdered his youngest sibling.
Oh, yeah.
There were also 2 other siblings in the household besides Angela. So Charlie and Angela had 2 younger sisters that were home at the time, and they ended up sleeping through the entire thing.
Wow.
So I just have, I feel like you have to ask, if he didn't run out of bullets and he actually was...
Would he have actually stopped?
Yeah, would he have kept moving on, and would he have, murdered or tried to murder the 2 younger sisters as well? Who knows?
I would lean towards yes, but yeah, you don't know.
It seemed like he was on a mission to pretty much take out everybody. So with having no idea what to do with Charlie, because at this time, due to his age, he legally wasn't allowed to be held criminally responsible, and therefore he was actually never charged for any of it.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, nothing. Not the murder, not the attempted murder, nothing. So what the courts could do, though...
You could literally get away with murder.
Yeah, in a sense.
To some extent.
Because, which he essentially did, because what they did do was the courts required Charlie to spend time in a psychiatric institution because a grand jury had ruled, on the case that someone with his level of antisocial behavior could potentially be a threat to the community, essentially.
That makes sense.
So they felt it was necessary, obviously, for him to go seek some type of help and get evaluations and all of that. So he ended up spending a little over a year before being released and sent back into Herbert's custody. So during his time, like I said, he was ordered to receive multiple psychiatric evaluations, which shockingly showed no signs of him having any type of serious mental illness.
How is that possible?
Right? It's crazy. So it was determined that there was nothing to diagnose. Charlie appeared to be a well-adjusted kid with no psychosis, and he wasn't experiencing any kind of distorted thought processes. So there was truly no explanation for why this happened.
That's
Nothing.
Insane that he just snapped. That was it.
Yeah.
Like,
no forewarning, no red flags. I guess it could be red signs, right?
yeah.
No red flags, no nothing, and nothing to even like when you read what the psychiatrist, like all of them had said, they were all in agreement that we can't diagnose him because there's nothing to diagnose.
That's crazy.
So it's pretty, like, what the hell?
It's gotta be a 1 in a billion.
That would be an interesting statistic to know. Like, how often do you see people commit, like, horrendous things and then...
All good.
Yeah, like...
Right back to normal.
It's so crazy.
That's insane.
That's
fucking insane.
Well, it's crazy, too, because I wish there was more on his state. Like, obviously, it's probably all confidential, but, like, in the hospital institution stuff, I wonder if he even spoke about it. I would think they would talk to him about it, obviously, but I wonder if there was like more, if he provided more detail, or if he was just like, I blacked out. I don't even, like, does he not even remember doing it? Like, did his mind shut off?
Too, when it was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, and he was strangling his sister.
Yeah.
Like, I just wonder what his response is to like questions and stuff, and what his explanation or what he went through during that time. Like, I would love to know if he, like, claims that he doesn't remember anything. Because there's nothing. Like, all, like, everything's, you know, like...
It's all sealed.
Yeah, it's all, you know, confirmed, I was about to say. Confidential. So, I'm just curious. Like I said, we probably will never know. Because after Charlie was released from the institution... Like we just said, his records were sealed, and when he returned home, a neighbor said he was, like, kind of kept out of sight and mainly confined to the home. So he didn't really go out.
Wonder why.
Yeah. Also, Herbert had remarried and basically decided shortly after that to, like, pack the family up, and they just moved to Florida. They just, like, up and left. So none of the Brandts ever spoke about what happened.
What kind of like, just real quick, like, you're getting remarried... Like, yeah, my wife was killed by my son. He's moving in.
He probably, I wonder, I wouldn't be surprised, I should say, if he didn't tell the new wife what had happened. Because basically, like, him and Angela agreed to never discuss it ever again.
Oh, I got it.
Because the two youngest siblings never even knew the truth. And they went on living their lives thinking that their mom had died in a car accident.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Herbert and Angela were like, we're not going to tell this new woman. We don't want to scare her.
That makes sense then.
Like talk about, like, taking it to the grave, ultimate family secret, you know?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. That's got to be a huge weight, too. Just to, like, now I have to be around this person and act like we're cool. You know?
Right, it's normal.
How are you not constantly side-eyeing your brother? Like, are you gonna... Anytime you move just, like, abruptly, I'd be like, oh, my God.
What are you doing?
It's happening again. Like,
Where are you going?
Yeah, oh. You just probably spend the rest of your life living in terror.
Definitely.
The weirdest thing I think, though, too, is Charlie was actually never asked about why he did it. You know, they never even asked him if he was sorry that he did it. He just went back home with the family, and they all went on living their lives as if it didn't happen.
What?
Even Charlie himself acted totally fine and completely normal. A coworker later in life stated that the most Charlie would share about his mom was that she passed away when he was young. That's it. I just think the whole thing's bizarre.
That's crazy that you're so, like,
nonchalant.
Yeah.
It's
just nuts.
Yeah, I just couldn't fathom it. Which is still why I want to know. Maybe he doesn't remember. Like, he could have truly, like, his mind, since he was so young.
Literally blacked out.
After he went through everything, even if he probably does remember that, like, after, like, in the moment, if he was, like, knew what he was doing. But then afterwards, like, eventually, like, to protect him, his mind could have blocked it out. So, like, but I don't know. Yeah. So, luckily for the family, Charlie didn't try to kill any of them after they relocated. And as things went back to quote-unquote normal, Charlie went on living his life. And in 1985, his ex-brother-in-law, so this is Angela's, like, ex-husband.
Okay.
So, I'm just going to call him ex-bro-in-law going forward. His new girlfriend had a friend, Teresa Terry Helfrich. She wanted to set her up. So Charlie's ex-bro-in-law thought of Charlie, and the two were introduced. The ex-bro-in-law never expected that the two would actually end up falling in love and marrying one another, but that's pretty much how it went down. Charlie and Terry were described as a loving couple who did everything together because they genuinely enjoyed each other's company. Yeah. They shared the same interests and hobbies and had kind of like a yin and yang type of relationship. Terry's friend said that she was more of like the free spirit, gypsy-like personality. And Charlie was more on like the quiet side. He was a little more reserved. They described him as being an oddball, but not a threat. And they had never even seen him get angry before.
That's never?
Yeah, like they said, like while Terry was sociable and outgoing, Charlie would just be the one to kind of sit in the background and like just observe. According to friends and family, the two just kind of complemented each other very well.
Makes sense.
Like she's up doing her thing and he's just sitting back letting her do her thing is what I gathered. So when police are called to an Orlando residence in September 2004, there are no words for the scene they uncover and the reality of who Charlie Brandt really is.
Oh, God.
Yeah, shit is about to go down. So in 2004, Charlie and Terry were living in the Florida Keys, and in September of 2004, Hurricane Ivan was hitting. I'm sure you probably remember.
I think so, yeah.
So, Charlie and Terry had to evacuate the area, and Terry reached out to her niece, 37-year-old Michelle Jones, who at that time is living in Orlando. So Terry and Michelle were kind of like more like friends than aunt and niece due to their closeness in age. Terry was 8 when Michelle was born, so you're basically sisters.
Yeah, that's not a big gap.
No. Yeah, you're more sisters or more like really close cousins. But at that point, I feel like you're more like kind of like sisters. So when Michelle receives the call from Terry, she was excited for them, to come and stay with her for the weekend while the hurricane passed. So, really quick, Michelle Jones was a successful single woman who worked for the Golf Channel, and she actually owned like this beautiful home in Orlando. It sounded like she was doing the damn thing,
Like pretty decent.
Yeah, like she was living life. So, on the night of September 15th, 2004, Michelle, Charlie, and Terry all had dinner and, a few drinks, just hanging out, whatever. After dinner was over, Michelle spoke with one of her friends on the phone and actually told the friend that, it was probably best she didn't come over because Terry and Charlie had too much to drink and they actually had been arguing. So, they weren't in the best place to kind of like be around people at the moment. And Michelle said because of this too, she was just, going to call it a night and go to bed. So don't even bother. Talk to you tomorrow type deal. Terry and Charlie should have actually already been gone at this point, which is weird. The hurricane had already passed and they had originally planned to leave that day. But for some reason, Charlie insisted that they stay one more night.
That's weird.
Yeah, especially when you find out what happens. So after this conversation that the friend had, she unfortunately hung up and had no clue, nor did anybody else, that this would be the last time she spoke to any of them ever again.
That is so sad.
You just never know.
Yeah.
It's crazy how quickly instant,
Yeah, you really don't know.
So Michelle was also extremely close with her mom. Her mom had lived in North Carolina. The distance didn't affect their relationship whatsoever, and they spoke to each other almost every day. So her mom is also Terry's sister. So knowing that her sister was staying with her daughter, she wanted to reach out and see how it was going. But when she had called on Monday night, she received no answer, which is a little weird, but, nothing so out of the norm that she needed to really worry. Like nobody's ever missed a call before.
Yeah.
However, after she called Michelle again on Tuesday with no answer and hasn't gotten a call back either, she did start to get a little more concerned. And when her call goes unanswered yet again on Wednesday, she knows something isn't right. So Michelle's mom reaches out to one of Michelle's close friends and tells her, she can't get in touch with them. Can you just go over there and, give the house a little look-see, like just go check on things. So the friend agrees and heads over. She gets to the house, still on the phone with Michelle's mom. She approaches the front door but can't get inside, so she heads around, obviously, to the garage because it's Florida.
Everything's connected.
Yes, every house in Florida, if you've never been there, I don't know why, every house has access into the house through the garage.
Right to the house.
I don't get it. I don't. I truly don't. So she heads around, but she doesn't really need to go, too far because the garage door was almost entirely basically made up of glass, and the friend can easily see into it. And what she sees stops her in her tracks, and what she sees isn't even the worst of it. So as she walks up, she can see Charlie, and he is hanging from the rafters.
Oh, God.
Dead, obviously, here. So obviously they call police. Police show up. They enter the home. The head investigator said that the house was just pretty much a nice home. It had a feminine kind of feel to it with nice decorations, and that the aroma of the home was just masked by death, and that there was a smell of death in the air.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's gotta be rough.
What a way to explain something.
Rough,
or describe something, right? Could you do...
Yeah.
That's okay. So when they get into the home, the first thing they see is 46-year-old Terry Brandt in the living room. She's slumped on the couch. She had been repeatedly stabbed 7 times in the chest. But this scene honestly just keeps getting worse. The cops then make their way into 37-year-old Michelle's room, and what they find honestly is straight out of Jack the Ripper's book. It is that bad. This scene, she looks like she was one of his victims. That's how bad it is. Police find Michelle on her bed with 1 stab wound to her chest. Her bloody clothes had been removed and placed in her bathroom sink. They found her head lying next to her body, so she was decapitated.
Oh.
It's not it. Her left leg had been removed, as well as both of her breasts. And her heart, along with other organs, had been cut out too.
Wow.
See what I'm saying with Jack the Ripper?
Yeah.
So she was essentially dismembered and then some. Needless to say, the scene is a fucking mess.
Oh, God. Must have been brutal.
I couldn't even imagine, walking into something like that. It's got to seem like a movie prop. You know what I mean? It just has to seem so surreal for, a second. Just for a second, I feel like your brain probably registers that as, haunted house attraction, and then but
you're like, wait a minute, no, this is real.
And then within an instant, though, it's real. So it's that's got to be such a mind fuck, because your initial seeing it, and like I said, it has to be for a second, a half a second. You just don't register it as real to quickly register it as real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. So investigators note that the house was locked from the inside, and there were no signs of any forced entry, making it clear what had occurred here. After finding Michelle in the manner she was in, it became obvious to investigators that Charlie had murdered the 2 women, taken his time with Michelle, meaning that with Michelle's own kitchen knives, Charlie killed Terry first so he could then do whatever he wanted to Michelle for as long as he wanted. Then, are you going to say something?
Just gross, that's all.
Okay. Then I was going to say, don't hold back, jump on in here. Then when he was done, he changed out of his blood-soaked clothes, leaving them next to the bed, proceeded to cut a bunch of Victoria's Secret bras and underwear in half and had scattered them around the room. I don't understand that one. Then he went into the garage, grabbed a step stool, and hung himself with a bed sheet. Charlie left no explanation for why he did this. So investigators, their only option really to dive in deeper here into who he was and all that was essentially to go down to the keys, to search the Brandt residence and hopefully find some answers to the many questions they all have. So the first thing they notice when they get to the home is how meticulous the house was boarded up for the hurricane. It was so odd that investigators like noted it. They said that every board looked like it was custom fitted, as if an engineer had done it. So when they get inside, they noted how precise and meticulous the interior was as well. They also find it's like a little obsessive.
I will say it's kind of funny that it's like you're doing this for hurricane preparation. Don't you want it to be as perfect as possible?
Yes, but I could see a bunch of people just buying plywood and putting it up, not like perfectly making it fit.
But that's why I'm saying, like,
which is, it's done right. Basically, the way he did it, it's done right, but that's odd.
Like,
because it's like a little too attention to detail.
You know, it's like, we want you to do it, but we don't want you to do it that good.
Yeah. Too good is like, well, you're obsessive.
It's interesting.
So, but you're definitely right, because you do want it to be like...
You want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
You?
To like protect your
hurricane.
home. It's true. It's very true. So, inside, though, they also found some weird shit. For instance, on the back of like a closet door, they find a medical poster of the female anatomy, with one side being like the skeletal layout, and the other side being the muscles and shit. So you know those ones you would see in like science class or something, or like the doctor's office. One of those, yeah. He also had several medical and anatomy books, as well as newspaper clippings that showed a human heart, which was just random.
Random and odd, yeah.
Then they got into his search history, which was riddled with disturbing material. He often visited websites involving autopsies, necrophilia, and violence against women, such as torture and mutilation. Probably one of the weirdest pieces of evidence that police discovered was a bunch of like Victoria's Secret's catalogs, and the subscription was in Charlie's name. So he had like his own subscription to Victoria's Secrets.
Wow.
And if you remember, that's what was scattered around the room.
Yeah.
It would this is even creepier. It would later come out after investigators speak with one of his co-workers that Charlie spoke about his niece often, especially how beautiful she was, and that Charlie only ever referred to her as Victoria's Secret.
That's even grosser.
Yeah, the co-worker didn't even know her name. I don't know if it's a guy or a dude or a chick or whatever, but the co-worker said that the only name that they knew the niece by was his nickname. So they only knew the niece as Victoria's Secret.
That's so gross.
Yeah, like that just makes the factor. It's
so gross.
Dave Chappelle, I'm just going to say it for everybody. Yuck.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those.
Yeah.
Yuck. After hearing this, cops believed that Charlie at some point became infatuated with Michelle. However, there is no actual solid proof of this. It is only kind of like their speculation to most likely try and tie together loose ends and maybe help with getting answers as to why he would have done this.
Makes sense.
At the time of Terry and Michelle's murder, investigators also have no clue about the 1971 incident and that Charlie has actually killed before.
Nobody does.
Yeah. So it wasn't until his oldest, oldest, but she's just his older sister, Angela, came forward and informed them of Charlie's past. So like she's the one who reached out to them.
That was like, I guess
Like, you need to know some shit. Realizing this, the police find it very hard to believe that Charlie had sat dormant for 30 years and then suddenly brutally murders his wife and niece. So they're convinced he had killed again since 1971. And it kind of turned into more of a question of how many murders was Charlie Brandt actually responsible for. So a task force was created. And pretty much what they did was they looked, or sift, I should say, through cold cases that had dated back to when Charlie first showed up in Florida. Out of all the cases they went through, there were two that stood out, like, drastically to them. One from 1989 and another one from 1995. So in 1995, the body of Darlene Toller is found along a highway in Miami's Little Havana. She was wrapped in a blanket, then wrapped up in plastic. She had been decapitated and her heart had been removed. So, sounds pretty familiar if you ask me.
Yeah.
They did find also dog hairs at the scene, and police said they found dog hairs in the back of Charlie's truck, but whether they actually match is unknown. So, like, obviously, that's just kind of like, what is it? What type of evidence is it? It's like circumstantial,
Yeah.
like, not actually, I don't even think that is
Oh,
evidence because
yeah.
I don't even know if it's the same dog. So, who doesn't have dog hair everywhere? So if you have a dog, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's still basically they got nothing with that, but that is something to look at if they ever ran DNA and shit, you know. So another thing that is a rather big coincidence. This Miami's little that's pretty much 100 miles I want to say from where Charlie was living. So he ended up for some reason keeping track of his mileage. And during the time of her murder, there was a noticeable increase in his mileage. So that's a little
weird.
Yeah, that's a little like, okay.
Suspicious.
Yeah. So that's like one of the big coincidences. As for the other case, back in 1989, the body of Sherry Perisho, I think is how you say it, Perisho, Perishl, Perisho.
Sounds right.
She was found by local fishermen. She was also found just 4 blocks from Charlie's home. Sherry at the time was living on a small rowboat, and it is believed that she was murdered on it. There were cut marks found on the floor of the boat, and when Sherry was found, she too had been decapitated and her heart had been cut out. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, another coincidence,
Yeah.
you know. Now, when police went through the Brandt's home, they also found journals that had belonged to Terry. Shockingly, these journals revealed very little other than what police had kind of already known. Charlie and Terry lived very ordinary lives, it appeared, just from what they got from outsiders as well as what she wrote down. There was, however, one entry that just said, quote unquote, weird day.
That could go so many different directions.
Yeah, like it might not even pertain to him. It could be an interaction she had with somebody else, but no one knows what this means because she provided no further information. That literally was just her journal entry, which is odd in itself. Like, why even go through the trouble of writing that down?
Go out of your way to write. Yeah.
Right? That's a little weird.
2 words.
So in her journal, Terry also, for some reason, she would, which I think this is odd, and I think this is kind of telling of more, because she would keep track of his comings and goings. So she would track the days that Charlie, would come home late, and she would also track the ones where he didn't come home at all. Odd.
That is odd.
But again, she didn't provide any other information, so investigators essentially were still looking for solid evidence that would, connect him to Sherry's death. And then out of nowhere, they get the information they were desperately looking for, because Charlie's ex-bro-in-law came forward and told them about a conversation he had had with Terry one day. He said that Terry brought it to his attention that not too far from where she had lived, someone had been killed. She then went on to say she had been thinking about calling the sheriff's office because of Charlie's past. Terry then said that she had found Charlie downstairs in their home with blood all over him, and when she inquired about, what happened, he told her that he had been filleting fish. So
filleting fish.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So she knew it didn't really make sense, but she said she chose to believe him.
Fisherman.
That makes sense to me. Like, you don't want to believe,
Yeah.
that he could have anything to do with it.
I get that.
So that makes sense that you would choose to believe him. According to authorities, there was nothing in her journal entries that spoke of this incident, which they also found odd. And
I think that's kind of weird too. Why wasn't that weird day?
Well, I would like to know the date of the weird day,
Yeah.
message or passage, whatever you call it when it's in a journal entry. Like, I would like to know what's the date on that. And then also, what I'm thinking is maybe she only wrote certain things down because, like, maybe he would read her diary, or
Oh yeah, she might have had to keep some stuff
yeah, maybe she was fearful that he
straight
might
to
read
herself.
stuff. So, like, maybe it was more of like a decoy in a sense where she just legit just wrote, like, didn't go too serious or write stuff down that, like, would.
Could get her in trouble.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. Exactly. So, I mean, we don't know though. We don't know. So, anywho, this story that the ex-bro-in-law told to the investigators, this kind of gave them the final information they were looking for, and they had concluded after this that Charlie Brandt was responsible for Sherry's death, and they officially closed her case.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, so he is now her killer essentially. When talking more to his ex-bro-in-law too, it was revealed that he had known about Charlie's past. Apparently, the sister, when they were married, one day did disclose the information to him, but he had assumed he was fine now because, according to him, Charlie was an extremely gentle guy who wouldn't even kill bugs. So he didn't see that killer instinct. Like, he just
Doth
seemed.
protest too much.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
just kidding.
what I think is
Won't
funny
even kill
is
a bug, huh?
I think it's funny that, like, it's doth for now. I was like, at first I didn't understand. I thought you meant the ex-bro-in-law
Oh,
doth
no,
protest too
no,
much. I was like,
no.
I don't really get
Won't
that
even
joke.
kill a bug, huh?
But yes, no, going a little above two, yeah, I get that now. So that was good. I didn't click it at first. But I was gonna say, like, I think what's even more frightening, because he was unassuming before he killed his mom, and now look, he's so unassuming now. Like, that's a terrifying human being.
Yeah.
That's a very scary person, right?
Yeah. Because you don't even know if he's on your side.
Yeah, you don't know where you stand with him at all. That's crazy. And oh, that's terrifying.
That's
Like, you
fucking
have to walk on
scary.
eggshells all the time.
That's fucking scary.
So even Charlie's coworker told them how Charlie never showed any signs of having any kind of problems. He wasn't outwardly depressed, nor was he ever really withdrawn. And I guess it's, like, safe to say that his coworkers were just as surprised to hear the news, because,
Why wouldn't you be?
again, he is so unassuming, which is mind-blowing to me. However, his ex-bro-in-law did share with police that there was only one time he can think of when Charlie really creeped him out. Apparently, the two were drinking some beers together after spending the day fishing, and somehow they got on the topic of revenge when he told him if he really wanted to get revenge, he should kill somebody and cut their heart out, which I think is oddly
Wow,
specific.
that's like, yeah.
That's
like real on point.
Like, I mean, you don't get any more specific than that.
Okay.
I don't even know where you go with that, because you're just like, what?
Yeah.
Especially for somebody who's not that type of person, who doesn't normally say things like that. Like,
this guy just said I would cut his fucking heart out.
Like, I would just, like, swig my beer and pretend like I didn't hear it. Like,
yep.
What? Okay, then. Time to go. Check, please. Like, what? So it was also debated whether Terry even knew about Charlie's past, and according to the ex-bro-in-law, Charlie had told her after the two got married, but according to Terry's sister, she believes that Terry wouldn't have stayed with someone who had killed their mom as a kid. Personally, judging by the conversations the ex-bro-in-law says him and Terry had, where they pretty much openly discussed Charlie having a past, I think she probably did know. Because I just can't fathom why he would even make that up. Like, why are you even going to make up that you had a conversation with her about him having a past?
Doesn't make sense.
That doesn't benefit
Doesn't
or
make
hurt
sense.
anybody in any type of way, so it doesn't make, like,
There's no point to make it up.
yeah, so I feel like she probably knew, but it was probably also presented, like, I think probably in a totally different way. Like, oh, I don't really know what happened.
It probably wasn't a, oh, by the way, this motherfucker killed his mom. When
Yeah, like, I feel like if anything, Charlie probably disclosed, like, there's stuff from my past, I got help for, I feel like it was probably done in such a way where it was like, oh, that's in the past, it
was a miscommunication.
It's over, like, 15 years ago, you were 13, which probably made it easier to move past it for her, to look beyond it, I mean.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, like, because I feel like if it was presented any other way, you'd be like,
I'm out.
Annulment. So back in 2005, the task force was looking at 26 unsolved slayings that had happened in Florida, all of which had similarities that were seen in the crimes already knowingly committed by Charlie. And after Terry and Michelle's murders, Herbert, Charlie's dad, came out and said that the two had actually, that the two actually had met up a couple of days prior to the bodies being found. And he said that Charlie, when he came and visited him, like right before he left, he had hugged Herbert. And Herbert said it was a hug that, like, he's never been hugged like that by him before. So,
Weird.
I mean, this is one of those, whether Charlie left the keys with a sick plan already in mind or if he was just seizing an opportunity.
You don't know.
And we'll never know. We'll most likely never know unless randomly they find something that he wrote something down, because
It's crazy.
we'll never know. Like, that's it. That's the end.
That's insane.
Yeah. And that, everyone, was the horrific murders of Ilsa Brandt, Terry Brandt, and Michelle Jones. Awful.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Awful. And actually, I should also say Sherry Parisho, I just realized, and potentially the other girl, Danielle Toller, Dawn Toller. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on her name right now,
I
but
have a terrible memory.
I mean, because he hasn't even been like accused or whatever of that one. He hasn't been tied to that one, but
Yeah,
I mean,
you never
you
know.
never know. Decapitated and a heart being cut out are very, very specific.
That's real specific, yeah.
Maybe one or the other, but to have both in like so many, I feel like
It's a little odd.
yeah. So
A little odd.
yeah. But on that note, that means it is now time for our shithead of the week. So Adam, who do you have for us?
There's a couple. Well, a few. Three. So it's a few. It's in Kissimmee, Florida, too. It's in Florida.
Hey.
Yeah. It's from a couple years ago. There's some dude, like, just hanging, doing his thing, whatever. Some chick by the name of Christina starts asking him for help to help pay for a hotel room because she's like, yo, I had to stay in my car last night, blah, blah.
Sounds like a personal problem. No, I'm kidding.
So,
I'm kidding.
right?
I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's what. Right. So
They're friends, though? Like,
no,
legit.
she doesn't. They don't know each other. He's like some random dude she just walked up to.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
So this dude is like, all right, fine, I'll help you out. I'll put you up for a night, whatever.
That's nice of
so
him.
They go to a hotel. Supposedly, they go to a hotel and she robs him, right? But this is where it gets real good because her brother Curtis and some guy Jorge, then who she's friends with, then take this guy, throw him in the back of their car,
Oh no.
kidnap him, tell him they're gonna take him to the bank. He's got to take out $900, or they're gonna fucking like cut him up and shit. These fucking dumbasses didn't take the guy's phone. So he texted 911 from the back of the car.
Oh,
I'm being kidnapped. They're robbing me. Here's the car description and shit. Then the sheriff's department apparently like flooded the area with deputies. And then they pulled the traffic stop and they were like, all right, game over, fuck faces. You're all arrested.
It would have been better if you would have been like, we're going to this bank. And then when they pulled in, just the cops were waiting for them. That would have been so much
they're like
better.
One of the tellers at that fucking drive up.
Like freaking morons. Oh my God. That escalated quickly.
How fucking stupid you gotta be. You're gonna rob somebody, but you don't think, let me take everything out of their pockets right off the bat.
Fucking dumbasses.
And then we'll go to the bank.
See, this is why it doesn't pay to be a good Samaritan.
No.
Because you are just helping. I bet you anything, though. I don't know. I'm like, I feel like there was promise of sex.
There may have been something. Who knows? Maybe they did, stuff. I don't know.
Like,
maybe not. I don't know.
She promising blowjobs over there for that hotel room. I'm just asking. I'm just saying.
I'll blow you for $10. Gross.
Yeah, but fucking morons. That's pretty. He's lucky though, because that could have ended so
really badly.
Like
that could have ended real bad.
That story right there. Like, had they not, if they took his phone, he didn't have that opportunity. Like, that story completely writes itself. Like, I could see that news article right now in my head of how
Dog-
that would have ended
Dog
terribly.
got quick thinking too. Let me
Yeah.
text 911.
So did they even tie him up or anything? Or they just tossed him in the trunk?
No, it's like in the back seat. It sounded like I didn't read anything about him being thrown in the trunk.
I thought he was in the trunk.
No, I didn't read anything about a trunk being involved.
So they're like, get in the car, and they put him in the
Threw him
back
in the back
seat.
and he must have just.
When you take somebody, you always put them in the passenger seat, and then your partner sits behind them. Have we learned nothing from movies?
Apparently, people have not.
What a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah.
And that's why you guys are the shitheads of the week.
Yep.
And so is that girl, because she set it up, fucking
Yeah.
asshole. What a cunt.
Yeah.
Bitch. All right. On that note, thank you everyone for hanging out with us. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to the show on whatever platform you're listening on. Rate and review us, and please tell your friends. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. And if you like, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm tired. Until next week, we will chat.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm so tired. I totally lost that. But
Perfect.
yeah, we'll see you next week then. Have a good one.